we got to see just before recording one of the wilder game winners we've seen in a little bit. Could one of you attempt to describe Kyrie's game winner today? I don't even know what the word for it would be. He's sprinting away from the basket, and then at the last second turns right and throws up like a left-handed skyhook. It was a fucking crazy shot. But John, this is why you can't quit Kyrie Irving and never could, right?
Bro, man, it's crack, dog. You know, just when you think you can turn your back, he pulls you right back in, G. Like, no, really. I mean, think about this shot, though. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, he's fasting right now. But, dude, he's dribbling with his left away from the basket. It's a runner. He's running, and it's a floater sky hook with his not dominant hand, with his left hand. Like, that's literal. Like, I couldn't hit rim 20 out of 20 times trying to do that. You know, I mean, a nigga that can, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and he was body to body on Jokic, 6'2" on 7 foot, right?
Like, I mean, that's the only option he had, and he had it in the bag. Like, does anybody have a deeper bag than this dude, G? Like, I don't think it's even close. He does something once a year I just never have seen. And how many years he been playing basketball? It's insane, G. So, yes, I can't turn my back on the man. You feel me? Fuck what he be talking about, for real. But when he keep his mouth closed, he a bad bitch, bro. He just can't talk. You know what I mean? Just don't talk, my boy. You feel me?
This would be a good, like M. Spears' left-handed layup challenge. Go out to a court in the park with the ball. Start out on the side of the court on the baseline of your non-dominant hand. Dribble, sprint out to the elbow.
Full speed.
And turn in, and then get up a running sky hook with your offhand. And just let us know how it goes. Like, did you hit the backboard? Did you hit any part of the rim?
Just a fucking incredibly tough shot, dude. I just couldn't believe it. Like, every angle I see just kind of emphasizes how ridiculous that shot was.
Right, I'm seeing weird angles just trying to, like how did he, I'm like, when I saw, like, you know, they said, Kyrie, you know, called game, which, you know, whatever. And then, like, I'm just thinking, like, oh, he just pulls up, you know, just a little Jimmy base, you know, great shot, you know, big time shot. What the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is that? I'm trying to describe it in the group chat. I'm like, is this, like, offhand? Like, this makes no sense. And an actual impossible shot he hit for game. Kyrie, G. Kyrie.
God, motherfucking Reed.
They gonna slow that down and put some R&B under that motherfucker. I'm gonna cry, nigga.
Put some Sade under that motherfucker.
I do not agree with these young kids saying it's funny every time they put R&B. I think that shit is beautiful, bro. I'm gonna shed a tear. You feel me?
Yeah. He put some Sade Kiss of Life over that, bro. That's art, right?
Hell, woo, crazy.
But did y'all see Dame woke up the whole most skilled basketball player ever again debate with that tweet?
No.
What did he say?
He just said, that's all he said, most skilled basketball player ever. Like, and
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know, we discussed this before, and you know, I'm not riding with the connotation of Kyrie being the most skilled basketball player ever, because I feel like there's just so many facets of basketball that title accounts for, that Kyrie just, like, doesn't check the boxes on. You feel me? You know, like there's a whole other side of basketball that we just decided to completely ignore when we crown Kyrie as the most skilled basketball player ever. And I just can't ride with calling him that when he's not an exceptional defender. He's not an exceptional facilitator. But what he is, and what I've kind of, like, just resigned to whenever I hear that, is when people say Kyrie is the most skilled basketball player ever, I think they're basically saying he's the most versatile scorer ever. And while I'm not riding with Kyrie being designated as the most skilled basketball player ever, I think he's got a hell of a case as the most versatile scorer we've ever seen, because he can score in so many ways, dude. Like, this is a dude who's ran off like 5 straight, 27 point per game, 50, 40, 90 seasons, where he's knocking on 50, 40, 90 store. He can get you buckets on any level of the court, right? He can work the midi, he can bomb from deep. He's got one of the best layup packages we've ever seen. He's like a 62% shooter at the rim at like 6'2". And, I think what it all comes down to is the handles, right? I think that's the genesis of where all of Kyrie's gifts as a scorer stem from, because he's hands down the best dribbler this game has ever seen. His handles are like his most valuable attribute in his toolbox to me, because he's never in a spot as long as he's got his dribble alive, he's never in a spot on the court where he's uncomfortable, right? He'll bust your ass on the ISO. He's going to split the double. He's going to, get to the rim and put a 7-foot in a motherfucking spin cycle and get a bucket, right? And it all comes back to his handle. So, and I think that's why so many of the game stars, right, like the upper echelon guys, they fanboy out whenever Kyrie does some wild shit, because these are basketball gods who are watching Kyrie do some shit that they cannot do. And I think that's why they anoint him as the most skilled basketball player ever. And like I said, while I'm not on the side of him being the most skilled basketball player ever, I think for sure there's a discussion on if he is the most versatile scorer ever.
I definitely think he's the most skilled basketball player ever. I'm not even. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just telling you how I feel. You know what I mean? And
what do you define skill as? Let's lay it out here. What do you define skill as then?
I mean, this is the thing. I think he finishes just as well with both hands. You know what I mean? Okay. I think like that shot right there, literally nobody can do that because nobody is that good with their offhand. Like nobody can shoot is just as good. Like I think I've seen Kyrie like shooting jumpers similar to how Steph shoots with his offhand too. You know what I mean? Just like in practice on some fun shit. And also I feel like when it comes to every basketball player, there's something you're focused on trying to get them not to do. I think defenders are completely helpless with Kyrie because there's nothing that they're like, hey, don't let Kyrie do this. Because he can do everything else really, really good as well. Like there's nothing that like as a defender, what do you like for talking to other people that have defended him and like I remember asking like younger players, who's the first person to bust your ass? I always said Kyrie. And because he has so many combos, bro. Like he has like something to counter anything, so many counters. And I just think like when you're as a defender, there's nothing to push him into because he's good at that as well. So that's why I say he's the most skilled basketball player ever because there's like not a particular thing to prevent him from doing.
All you mentioned was scoring right there, though. That's my whole point. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't mention facilitating, you didn't mention defense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I can't say he's the most skilled because, like I said, he doesn't check off all those boxes to me. I do think and it goes back to everything you said.
I'm not trying. I'm saying I don't. Bro, like I'm like the other. Like, I'm like Dame. I don't care about those boxes. We don't care.
no, but that's the whole thing,
and bro, I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I agree with. I understand your point.
We're both saying the same thing. We're both saying he's the most versatile scorer we've ever seen. I just don't see how you can just define. I just don't see how you can just box the whole wide encompassing definition of skill into just scoring. That's my point.
You don't see how, and I just did. Like that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? We just think differently on it, and it's cool. I don't think you're wrong. You know what I mean? I just see it in a different way. You know what I mean?
Bro, he's like, and the thing is, most versatile.
I don't need it, and I think when I look at skill, I don't look at. He's not the best. I think when you're talking about all those things, that equals the best basketball player. People that are good at all of those things together is the best basketball. He's not the best basketball player I've ever seen. He's the most skilled basketball player I've ever seen. And the skills are individual to me. And that's how I look at it.
Well, you can't say, so if it's just one individual skill that you're locking in on, how can you say that being the most skilled encompasses all of the skills? And that's what I'm not correlating here.
Okay.
I also feel like the big thing with the most skilled conversation is I feel like it's attempting to like take account like size. Like you would never say
it's just an anti-size discriminatory argument.
Right. It's like, oh, Kyrie is like he's so skilled because he can do all these things at this size. Like that's a big part of it too, I think. You don't think so?
No, I mean I understand part of that, but I also like he's one of the best finishers at the rim, period. I don't think that's anything to do with the size. You know what I mean?
But I do agree with Tyler. That's one skill.
Perhaps the best layup package ever, right? Like I'm not taking anything
for sure.
And
so like I don't know if it's with Kyrie. I don't think it's particularly just size because the things he's really good at, he's the best at regardless of size.
It's just like like people would never put like here's whenever people have this debate, what I always say is give me your argument for why LeBron James is not the most skilled player ever as the only person who's top X in every category, right? And the argument is like, there isn't really an argument. The argument is, well, he's big or like he has these gifts or whatever. It's like, but having those too, though. It is. It's like having those physical gifts, but it's like people use the argument against Giannis or against Shaq or whatever. Have you ever been around a big fat dude? Shaq is skilled as fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, hell. Like, great touch at the rim. Feet are incredible.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
That's the stuff to me where it's like, I think this is attempting to, in basketball, all sports, disassociate physical talent from developed skill is like, it's impossible and there's no need to try and take the project on. But I agree with Tyler. Like, I absolutely credit Kyrie in those skills. There's just a whole wing of shit that he's not even, to me, it would be like saying Russ is the best all around guard because he's so much better rebounding than a lot of other guards. It's like, yeah, that's one part of his game. He deserves a lot of credit for it, but I wouldn't say that he's the best all around. I'd say he's the best rebounding. I think Kyrie isn't the most skilled. I think he's the best finisher.
I think when like the pros are looking at it and thinking of skills, they're thinking of the things that they work on at the crib.
Of course.
Like with the ball by themselves. They're not thinking of best, like the rest of the game. They're looking at like, these are the things that I can't do that he can do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I look at it the same way they do. I'm not looking at it as
and
like.
that's why Dame's not looking at defense.
Yeah, you feel me? You know what I'm saying?
He's like, what am I working on?
But true. But I'm just saying, like, if we're looking at like the argument that y'all are making, or the argument like that Tyler's talking about with all the other, I think that's the best basketball player. I think there's a little nuance between best basketball player and the most skilled player, and I look at it the same way they do, and I see why y'all don't as well. You know what I mean? So I mean, I get it. I just feel differently.
Shall we talk about the greatest jersey swap in history? Did you have one? Do you want to spin the block one more time, Tyler?
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing, man.
I just don't see how you can say you have to have all these things to be a better basketball player, but this guy doesn't have all those things. He's just got one of those things, so he's the most skilled. That just doesn't add up to me, bro.
It's not one, bro. I think he has a ton of
scoring
skills,
bro. Scoring and dribbling is the box,
and that's a big part of basketball, bro. That's a big part of being good at basketball. You know what I'm saying? So like, a big part. You know, a big part. Yes, but the skills that they're talking about are focusing on a particular part of the game.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. I think when they say that, they're basically saying this is the most versatile scorer we've ever seen. And I have no argument with that. But the whole skill part, there's just so much shit that Kyrie doesn't do that I just can't. I can't see that we could crown him as that.
John just agrees with their over-indexing or indexing, in his opinion, of scoring and dribbling, and you and I disagree.
For sure.
And
That's exactly how I feel.
I get it. I'm not watching. I'm not watching highlights of defensive guards. I mean, I personally prefer a defensive game. Like, I hope they go through with what they're rumored to be doing of allowing players to play defense again.
Right. I mean, no, I don't think it's not important. You know what I mean? But I'm saying the way that they're talking about it, I understand what they mean. You feel me? And I also understand what you mean as well.
All right, the NBA season is in full swing, coming down the stretch. Then we move right into the playoffs in April, May, and June. I can't wait. Spice things up with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA right now. All you have to do is put down $5 and get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Pretty good trade-off. I pay $5, I get $150. North Carolina listeners, do not forget. Welcome to the party. DraftKings Sportsbook now live in your state, North Carolina. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds. The code is Colin, Colin. Again, 90 seconds. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Put in Colin. New customers bet $5, get $150 back in bonus bets instantly. That is the trade. All right. The code is always Colin. The crown is yours.